He had a key. One small key, given out of friendship, and a choice, to leave it untouched, or to use it. The threshold, the click of the lock, a few steps, and everything he thought he knew about love, loyalty, and friendship vanished with the turn of a doorknob. 10 days before the wedding march, a betrayal that echoed like a gunshot in silence. She lied. He covered for her. Everything was hidden, perfectly staged, until one accident became the beginning of the end. What do you do when the two people closest to you are the ones who betray you? When instead of congratulations, you get a message. I didn't know how to tell you, man. You can erase the date from the calendar, you can cancel the reception, or you can make a move no one walks away clean from. There are no right choices here, only instinct, pain, and the cold calm of someone who's lost everything. But sometimes, loss is the only road to freedom, and he took it. All the way. Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as every like truly inspires me. Please tell me which city and country you watched this video from. Now, let's get started. My name is Grant, and I was meant to marry Ava. Just 10 days before our wedding, we were seated across from each other at our favorite restaurant, laughing as we playfully argued over which song should play during the cake cutting. Ava leaned toward something silly and cheerful, something that would make everyone chuckle. I preferred something classic and timeless. We never actually made a decision. Now, I'm parked outside her apartment, sitting alone in my car, painfully aware that I'll never get to hear that song, whichever one it might have been. Ava and I were together for 5.5 years. We met during a trivia night at a cozy little bar downtown. She beat me in the final round and made a teasing remark about men being terrible at multitasking. I was instantly hooked. Her quick wit, that crooked smile, it all pulled me in. We weren't perfect, but I always believed we were solid. For nearly 9 months, we poured ourselves into planning the wedding. Everything was in place. The venue booked, her dress chosen, invitations mailed, and the seating chart debated over countless times. My best friend since high school, Travis, was set to be my best man. We had been through every phase of life together: wild college nights, bad breakups, questionable choices, and even that chaotic weekend in Vegas we agreed never to speak of again. But about a month before the wedding, something shifted. Ava started going out more often. At first, it was just one night a week. Girls' night, she called it. Seemed harmless enough. Then it became 2 nights, then 3. She'd come home late, each time with some vague story. Emma needed to vent. Sabrina had another fight with her boyfriend. I tried to stay calm. I didn't want to come off as controlling. Still, it got harder to ignore, especially when she'd walk in around 1 a.m., smelling like a mix of bars and high-end perfume, too drained to talk. One night, I finally brought it up. "You've been out more than you've been home lately," I said. "The wedding's almost here and we barely spend time together." She rolled her eyes and let out a sharp laugh. "Oh, so now I need your permission to see my friends." "That's not what I meant," I replied. "But don't you think it's weird that we haven't shared a meal all week?" Her voice turned cold. "We're just busy, Grant. That's normal." And that was the end of it. She walked off to bed. I stayed on the couch, staring blankly ahead, trying to shake the sinking feeling in my chest. After that, small things began to jump out at me. Her phone was always face down. If I walked into the room, she'd quickly close or switch whatever was on the screen. At the same time, Travis started skipping our Tuesday basketball games. First, it was headaches, then work stuff. Eventually, he didn't even bother giving an excuse. One afternoon, I came home and found them in the kitchen. They were whispering, standing far too close. When they noticed me, they jolted apart like guilty kids. Ava gave a nervous little laugh. "We were just talking about your wedding gift," she said quickly. Travis nodded, way too fast. I brushed it off, told myself I was being paranoid. That stress and sleepless nights were messing with my head. I trusted them both, more than anyone. The thought of them betraying me didn't seem possible. Then, a few days before it all unraveled, Ava came home late again. She told me she'd been meeting with the wedding planner to finalize the menu. I kissed her cheek and paused. She was wearing cologne, a man's, not mine. It was unfamiliar, sharp, citrusy, expensive, the kind of scent that lingers. That night, I couldn't sleep. The smell haunted me, like a warning I didn't want to understand. The next day, everything fell apart. I was driving to pick up Travis for our tuxedo fitting. I got there early and parked nearby. That's when I saw Ava's car already in front of his building. My stomach dropped. I stayed put. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20. I watched shadows flicker through the blinds, someone moving around inside. I could have driven away, pretended I didn't see it, but I didn't. Back when Travis and I were roommates, he'd given me a spare key. He had a habit of locking himself out. I still had it, so I used it. I let myself in quietly. I heard their laughter first, Ava's light giggle, Travis's familiar laugh. Then it stopped. Then came the soft, unmistakable sounds of intimacy. I told myself maybe it was just the TV. Maybe I was wrong. But I wasn't. I walked down the hall, stopped in front of the bedroom door, and pushed it open. There they were. Ava and Travis, tangled in the sheets, completely exposed. Her face froze in disbelief. His eyes widened like a deer caught in headlights. "Grant," she breathed. "This isn't—" "Don't," I cut her off. My voice was steady. "Just don't." I stood there for a moment longer, pulled out my phone, snapped one picture, and slid it back into my pocket. Travis opened his mouth, but I didn't hear a word. I turned and walked out. No shouting, no scenes, no slammed doors. I just left. I got in my car and drove, aimlessly, for what felt like hours until I landed at a cheap motel off the highway. I didn't sleep at all that night, just lay on the stiff mattress, staring at the bumpy ceiling while a muted infomercial flickered on the TV. My phone buzzed endlessly, calls, texts, voicemails, from both Ava and Travis. I didn't answer a single one. I ignored every single call. By sunrise, my phone showed 43 missed ones. Ava had sent a text saying she was on her way to the motel, insisting she needed to explain everything. I had no idea how she'd found me at that crummy roadside place. Maybe she used some app to trace my location, or maybe she'd just driven around until she stumbled upon my car outside. Could have been dumb luck. Around noon, someone knocked. I opened the door, and there she was, standing like a shadow of herself, pale, drained, her eyes swollen and ringed in red. No makeup, unlike her. Just raw, stripped down. We stared at each other for a few beats. I stepped aside. She walked in. "I know what you saw," she said in a hushed voice, "but it's not what it looked like." I didn't say anything, just stared. She perched on the edge of the bed, her fingers tightly woven like she was trying to hold herself together. "It wasn't intentional," she went on. "It just happened. We were drinking, and then, God, I didn't mean for it to get that far." Still, I said nothing. She looked up at me, her expression desperate. "Please, say something." "You slept with my best friend," I said, each word landing heavy. "In his bed, a few days before we were supposed to get married." "It was a mistake," she murmured. "It didn't mean anything." "Then why?" I asked. "And don't feed me the 'we were drunk' line." Her eyes dropped to the floor. "I don't know. I got scared. You've been so distant, always working late, stuck in your head, thinking about your job, deadlines, everything but us." She hesitated, then added, "Travis listened." Her voice held something like blame, like I'd driven her there. I let out a bitter laugh. "So, talking turned into sleeping together?" She winced. "I thought we were solid," I said. "Everything I've been doing, working long hours, pushing myself, was for us. I was building a future, and you couldn't wait one more week? Tears started to pool in her eyes. Grant, please, let's not end everything. Just put it on hold. The wedding, we can pause it. We can fix this. You've already paid for the venue, the catering, my dress. That's where I snapped. Your dress? I repeated sharp. That's what you're thinking about? After wrecking everything? She stood abruptly. Yes, I messed up. But one mistake doesn't have to destroy us. We don't have to throw away everything we've built. One mistake? I echoed. You think this was just a single lapse? I've seen the way you two have been acting lately. Off, secretive. This wasn't some one-night accident, was it? She didn't respond. The silence said enough. Get out, I said. My voice was quiet, but firm. Grant! Go! Now! She didn't argue, just turned and walked out, her shoulders shaking as she went. That's when it hit me. This wasn't something you come back from. It was finished. The next morning, I got to work unraveling it all. First the venue, then the caterer. Lost the deposits, didn't care. Canceled the DJ with zero hesitation. 40 grand, gone. Didn't matter. I just wanted it wiped clean, like none of it had ever been real. That night, Ava called again. I picked up. I just want to talk, she said. Her voice was soft, fragile. No, I answered. I don't need more explanations. I'm letting everyone know why the wedding's off. You can't do that, she snapped, suddenly furious. That's private. Private, I said, letting out a cold laugh. Was it private when you climbed into bed with Travis? Then I ended the call. I opened my laptop, pulled up the guest list, and typed out a mass email. The wedding has been canceled due to infidelity. Thank you for your support. Any gifts will be returned. Just to be crystal clear, I attached the photo, the one that left nothing to doubt. Responses flooded in. Friends, family, co-workers. Shock, mostly. A lot of support. Some were pissed on my behalf. A few offered help, returning gifts, dealing with vendors, whatever I needed. Ava's mom called, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry, Grant. I had no idea. Please take care of yourself. Her dad didn't bother softening it. If I were you, I'd have gone further. You're handling this better than most. As for Travis? Silence. Not a single word. But Hazel, his girlfriend, got the email too. A few hours later, she messaged me. Thanks for telling me. We're done. He's dead to me. Another connection, torched. The day we were supposed to say, I do, I just drove. No destination, no map. Just the road stretching ahead until the skyline faded and I found the ocean. I pulled into a lookout spot high on a cliff, parked the car, and sat on a bench, watching the waves crash below. I stayed there for hours. No calls, no messages, no one. Just silence. The sea howled beneath my feet, its rhythm crashing in sync with the mess in my mind. For once, the world around me mirrored the chaos I felt inside. Eventually, I found myself in a dive bar just off the highway. I ordered a beer, slid into a booth, and stared ahead without seeing a thing. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't feeling much either. I just needed to be somewhere that wasn't home. That night, I swung by the apartment to collect a few essentials. Ava was already waiting outside, one hand gripping a bulging bag of my stuff, the other holding a white envelope. I wrote something down for you, she said. I don't want it, I answered, emotionless. You've got a week to get the rest, I told her. After that, it's either donated or trashed. She looked hurt. That's harsh. I didn't move. Not as harsh as what you did, I replied. I'm just cleaning up the wreckage. She didn't argue, just turned around and walked away. I spent the next week crashing at my cousin Miles's place, slept on a saggy pull-out couch, ate whatever leftovers were in the fridge, and spoke only when necessary. I ignored work, let calls go unanswered. I didn't live. I drifted. But amid that silence, a realization began to creep in. The worst, was already behind me. I'd taken the blow, and somehow, I was still on my feet. A couple of weeks passed before I got a message from Hazel, Travis's ex. She said she needed to talk, still piecing things together. We met at a quiet little diner. She showed up in a hoodie, no makeup, with the same hollow stare I'd been seeing in my own reflection. We talked for hours. We laid out timelines, connected the dots, and the truth slowly surfaced. Ava and Travis had been lying for months, maybe longer. All those work trips, the wedding errands, the late-night runs, just smoke and mirrors. We met up again a few days later. No pretense, no goal, just two people looking for something that didn't feel like betrayal. That turned into late-night calls, shared dinners, movie marathons. One night, I leaned in and kissed her, and she let me. Hazel and I were together for about 4 months. It was messy, raw, and undefined, but it was real. We both understood what we were, survivors, clinging to each other in the wreckage. Eventually, we said it out loud. She'd met someone else. We parted gently and stayed in touch. Not long after, I moved into a new place across town and hit restart. Landed a better job, higher pay, better hours, people I could actually stand. Turned the spare room into a home gym, laced up my sneakers, and started sweating out the noise. Months down the line, I ran into Ava at the grocery store. She was by the self-checkout, holding a small basket. She looked thinner, more worn down. Her eyes widened when they met mine. She asked if we could talk. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We stepped into the parking lot. She didn't try to pretend. "I've been seeing a therapist," she said, "trying to understand why I blew everything up." I gave a small nod, said nothing. There wasn't much left to say. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she added. "I just wanted you to hear that I'm sorry. I know I ruined something good." No theatrics, no crying, just a sincere apology from someone I once loved. "I hope you find peace," I told her, and I meant it. Years later, I got married. Her name's Chloe. We met at a game night. She annihilated everyone at Scrabble and didn't even brag about it. I asked her out the next day. We had a backyard wedding at her parents' place. 40 guests, all close. Her dad grilled steaks. Our first dance was to a song that played on a busted jukebox the night we first kissed. No drama, no shadows, just love. I didn't invite anyone from my past. No Ava, no Travis, not a single name from that chapter. I haven't heard from them in years, though bits of their story drift back occasionally through mutual acquaintances. Last I heard, they stayed together for a while, but it was rocky. Someone mentioned therapy. Someone else said Travis got fired, couldn't keep it together. Ava's supposedly working a job she hates, stuck behind a desk. That's all I know, and all I care to know. Chloe knows every detail of my story. She's never once looked at me like I'm broken, only like someone who's been through hell and came out whole. We're talking about starting a family now. I've got my own business, same field, but I'm in charge. Funny how the thing that once caged me now feels like freedom. Sometimes, I still think about that moment outside Travis's place, the exact second when everything unraveled. I wonder what would have happened if I'd just driven away. But then I look at Chloe, and I know. That was the day my old life ended, and thank God it did. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.